Hi, this is Abby from Witchcraft and Criminal History. Hopefully you're doing well. Today we're doing a case which is pivotal for criminal history, and if you have been in university, no matter what subject you're doing, whether you're doing, like me, psychology, criminology, law, the arts, science, medicine, you have to learn the history. You gotta learn history. And I'm actually very surprised that this case is very rarely known. And this is a very important case for legal history, as this case is the first case of somebody being successfully extradited for murder. Prior to 1910, if you committed murder outside of a country, if you murdered somebody in your country, you could easily start off a new life, even with the same identity, in another country, and they couldn't touch you. Like, if you killed somebody in the US, and even if the American and the US authorities knew about you, you could literally go over to the UK, for example, send a letter, even with a postcard with your photo smacked on it, and say, "Hi, I know you want me for murder, come and get me," but guess what, you can't. You could easily do that. Don't ask me why, but you could easily do that, and they couldn't extradite you. You're scot-free. But that all changed in 1910. In 1910, the first person got extradited for murder. It was actually two people, one of which got acquitted, and this was Dr. Hawley Harvey Crippen and Ethel Lanieve. Dr. Crippen was born in the United States. He was born in the United States, and he attended medical school at the University of Michigan Homeopathic Medical School and graduated in 1884. He met his wife in New York when he was practicing there in 1894, and his wife's name was Cora Crippen. Her stage name was Belle Elmore. So Belle Elmore and Cora Crippen are the same person. Belle Elmore, or Cora Crippen, she was, you could say, an actress. She was an actress. She performed on stage, and she had dreams of being an opera singer. However, apparently she didn't have the talent for it or the vocal cords for it. So to further his wife's career, they actually migrated over to the UK. However, when they migrated to the UK, Dr. Crippen's medical qualifications wasn't valid. Like, even though he had a doctorate from the University of Michigan, it wasn't worth anything. So he went to homeopathic medicine, so he was pretty much one size short of being a quack doctor. But while he was over there was a strain on a relationship. And at his job, he fell in love with a typist. Her name was Ethel Lanieve. So yeah, the old love triangle, and somebody falling in love with their secretary, pretty much. And but Dr. Crippen kept his relationship with Ethel Lanieve a secret. However, on the 31st of January 1910, Dr. Crippen and his wife, Cora Crippen, invited some people over for dinner. These people this was the last time this is the last time Cora Crippen's Cora Crippen's friends ever saw her alive. Supposedly. Because she was not seen again after the 31st of January 1910. She disappeared, and there was mysterious letters apparently originating from the US, stating that a member of Cora's family was taken ill, possibly from consumption, and consumption is tuberculosis. And she had to go quickly back to the US to attend to her family, leaving Harvey Crippen, at home. But, after a while, they were finding it more and more difficult. That the friends were getting very concerned, and they were pushing Dr. Crippen, to get more information, on the whereabouts of Cora Crippen. And eventually he said that she contracted consumption just outside of New York, and she went out to somewhere where there was high heels so she could help her breathing, which was a very common method back in those days to treat tuberculosis. But he also said later on that she died due to consumption. But when these people, inquired with their friends over in the US in regards to Cora Crippen to see whether they could get details, details of her funeral, there was no such details. And they actually contacted the NYPD to see whether they can find anything out from stateside. And eventually this also got the attention of Walter Dew. Inspector Walter Dew was working for Scotland Yard. So for them to get involved is, quite interesting. But Walter Dew, we'll get a little bit more information about Walter Dew because he's very pivotal for this case. Walter Dew went to Dr. Crippen and questioned about him, but when he went to the door, he was surprised to see Ethel and Eve there. And she was living in their house wearing Cora Crippen's furs, her clothing, her jewellery, everything. And she was even walking around their home and around the surrounding area in his supposedly late wife's clothing, which definitely, it does set up a bunch of alarm bells. So they went to check on him, and he was telling them about things, but when they confronted him that the NYPD and the police stateside couldn't find any information about him, about the whereabouts of Cora Crippen, he turned around and said that he felt like a fool and that she left him. And the police pretty much, under protocol, pretty much told him, we're going to try and investigate this. Don't go anywhere. What do Dr. Crippen do? Well, as soon as the police got out of there, he arranged for one of his secretaries to go out and get some boys' clothes, packed up his stuff, and fled to France. They lived in France for a little while until they decided that they didn't feel safe in France, where they were planning to migrate to the United States via Canada, to Quebec, Canada. So they got onto a boat. But to say the least, the boat they caught wasn't the fastest boat to get out of France. And also another thing was that this boat, the Montrose, had only about 4 passengers, which were in second class, which is business class. And one of them had a very high pitch for a boy, and was obviously a girl. And the other one was having a bit of a beard. Of course, the captain knew something was up and notified Scotland Yard. Well, I see the video is getting a little bit long. This is part 1. I do encourage you guys to continue watching this video. In part 2, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. Have a great day and blessed be.